On a Wednesday afternoon in North Minneapolis in 2022, a teenager left the security of his high school campus to join an organized march for justice downtown. Heading to the bus stop to join his peers, 15-year-old D. Hill brushed shoulders with an unknown man. Moments later, the man is captured fleeing the area, and D was on the ground. In the days and months that followed, investigators and the community questioned how such an innocent and chance encounter could turn so tragic. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin, and this is Just Thought Lounge. JTL is the true crime channel that delivers serious, well-balanced coverage of the cases that really make you think. Today's case is a recent one out of Minnesota, one that was both confounding and devastating to the local community. As is too often the case, the victim was an exceptional and well-loved family member and friend. He was also a mentor, an inspiring young man bursting with potential. But one day in February, he had an unlucky encounter with a man in a rage. Let's take a look. "15-year-old Deshaun Hill Jr. was a good kid. The honor roll student was also known as a star athlete. He was the starting quarterback for the North Polars football team at his North Community High School in Minneapolis. Known by family and friends as D, the 10th grader was popular with classmates, teachers, his coaches, and adored by his two younger sisters. Though still so young, D had established a reputation as a teenager who led by example, a role model for younger kids as well as his peers. Many believed D was destined for something great, either through sports or academics.
My name is Deshaun Hill, and I am in 4th grade. I like to learn stuff.
With big dreams, a supportive family, and a dedicated and passionate mindset, there were no limits to what Deshaun Hill Jr. was poised to accomplish in life. On the 9th of February 2022, the North Minneapolis community was reeling from the shocking killing of a young man, Amir Locke, by local law enforcement the week prior. 22-year-old Amir had been shot and killed by a SWAT team during the execution of a controversial no-knock warrant at the house where he had been staying. Police used a key to access the house just before 7 a.m. on the 2nd of February. Inside, Amir, unidentifiable to police, was under a blanket on a couch in the living room. Body cam footage caught Amir lifting his legally owned and licensed handgun before he was shot 3 times. Amir had not been the subject of the warrant. He had done nothing wrong. 1 week later, students at Minneapolis North were mobilizing to protest. In a community struggling with gun violence and facing another needless and tragic loss of a young life, they were taking the afternoon away from classes to engage in a peaceful protest. At lunchtime that afternoon, D left the high school for the bus stop at Golden Valley Road and Penn Avenue. He was on his way to express his grievance over the needless death and violence. It was roughly 12:30 p.m. when Deshaun Hill brushed shoulders with a man walking in the opposite direction on Golden Valley Road. The interaction appeared to be accidental, a slight misjudgment in the depth of space between the two walking past each other, or perhaps the other man reaches out to make contact. In the moments that followed, from out of the view of camera, the man in the red trousers carrying a backpack pulled out a handgun. Then he aimed and fired. 3 shots rang out. The shooter can be seen leaving in the same direction he had been walking, with his backpack now in front of him. He was presumably placing the gun back into his bag. A single witness, a local housing director named Ashley McNamara, ran from across the street towards D. She comforted him with assurances that help was on the way while she contacted 911. Deshaun was rushed to hospital but sadly passed away the following day. The shock of his loss to not only family, but the entire community was palpable.
He was so much more than just a football player. He was a real-life star. like in life. He was a beyond a leader. He was just inspirational as what a young man should be.
Investigators had very little physical evidence due to the nature of the crime scene. There was no DNA, no fingerprints, no fibers, and no murder weapon. What they did have was a community anxious to assist them and surveillance cameras on local businesses and homes that could provide a view of the killer. One such camera caught an obscured view of the sidewalk where Dee had walked past a man wearing red trousers and carrying a black backpack. Officers located a number of other surveillance videos that show the same man in the area just before the shooting, and then later showed him running away from the scene after the shooting took place. There were multiple individuals interviewed by police who had encounters with a male wearing red pants and a black jacket on and around Penn Avenue and Golden Valley Road. One witness stated that the man was looking for someone he claimed had stolen his cell phone. That witness provided a clothing description of a black jacket and orange or red pants. After the discussion with the man, he had walked off, but then only moments later, shots were heard ringing out, and the same man was running from the area. The single witness to view the shooting itself, Ashley McNamara, also described the shooter. Despite what was verifiable from the video footage, as well as others who had interacted with the shooter, Ashley initially described the man as dressed all in black. She also believed that the shooter was a black man. Police sought assistance locally. Tips began pouring in from the public. One such tip seemed curious to investigators. Someone from the Fond du Lac Indian Reservation phoned Minneapolis PD with information about a man named Cody Forencam. Cody had previously lived on the reservation in Cloquet with his mother. He had more recently become homeless and had spent the previous 8 months couch hopping and occasionally returning to the reservation to stay with his mother. The tipster told investigators that Cody had returned to Cloquet a few days prior, and rumor had it he had recently gotten into some trouble in Minneapolis. They believed he was linked to the murder of Dee Hill. Investigators showed a photo of Cody to individuals in the neighborhood that day who confirmed what they had already begun to suspect. Cody was seen in the area around the time of the shooting. He was caught on several cameras, including one in the convenience store, Wally's Food, which is located near to the intersection where Dee was gunned down. Minneapolis PD sat down with Cody Forencam roughly a week after Deshaun was killed.
Minneapolis Police Department.
Minneapolis Police.
Minneapolis.
Yep. All right.
Cody was not a stranger to police questioning. In fact, his colorful criminal history was just one red flag leading detectives to focus in on him. In 2012, he was convicted of arson after being identified as one of 2 individuals who poured gas on the porch of a home in Cloquet with people living inside it and lit it on fire. His first felony was 2 years earlier, when, at the age of 19, he was convicted of possessing a sawed-off shotgun in Minneapolis. He had been barred from owning guns due to his conviction for a crime of violence. With this sordid history, as well as witnesses placing the now 29-year-old near to the scene of the murder, police believed they had their man.
There was a murder at GVR in Penn. Okay, we're not here just because we got nobody else to talk to. Okay, we're here because you're involved with this murder. You've told people. That's why you're here. That's why you're not in Minneapolis. Okay, we have talked to people. All right, that have put you there at the scene. There's video of you at the scene.
The whole time.
The whole time. Okay, we know why you're there.
I ain't buying it, man.
You're not buying it. I'm not here to lie to you, though. Why would I lie to you?
I ain't buying it.
Why would I lie to you?
Listen, I ain't buying it.
Police acquired a warrant to search his mother's home. At the house, they located a backpack. The backpack had a marking on the right shoulder, consistent with a marking on the backpack observed in the surveillance video.
There's nobody. There's nobody that's protecting you at this
Are
point.
you kidding me? That kid had no reason to die whatsoever. And you didn't have any reason to kill him. But you did.
Cody insisted that he was not in Minneapolis that day. He was in Wisconsin, he said, with his girlfriend.
That's the day that young boy was murdered. Yep.
When is it next? I think I was over in Wisconsin. I think I might even have a ticket for the theater. Went to go see Sing 2 with my girl and her 2 nieces. So, like I said.
With your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were in Hayward, Wisconsin?
Well, I'm thinking, you said Wednesday?
Wednesday the 9th, okay? A week ago today is when that young man was killed. You were in Minneapolis. Okay, you're on video. Okay? I'm not telling you lies. I'm telling you the truth. Think
Like I said,
you were over on the north side.
I was, like I said, man.
You were not in Hayward, Wisconsin.
You can't tell me something.
Okay?
Like I said.
But I'm telling you, you were on video. Okay? You're on video. Okay? In the neighborhood, right by Wally's. Okay?
Working with I've been working with Val Whiteburn.
Yep.
She's been trying to help me find housing, whatever. I
She's
guess
been
there's
trying
a
to
short.
find a phone for you is what she's been trying to do.
A phone?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, a phone too. Yeah, she assisted me.
What happened to
Why'd
your
you need a phone?
What happened to your phone?
It got broke.
Did it get broke? Where?
It got broke.
Where?
I asked my girl. My girl broke my phone.
Detectives were particularly interested in Cody's phone for a reason. They believed that the theft of Cody's phone was directly linked to the murder. On the surveillance footage of Cody captured at Wally's Food, a masked man with a knife approached Cody, struck him, and robbed him. The robber, who remained unidentified, managed to steal Cody's phone from him before fleeing. This altercation was significant, not because there was any chance at all that Deshaun Hill was the thief. That has never once been proposed. It is significant because detectives believed that this incident earlier in the day triggered Cody Forencamp. It set him on a path to murder. Cody left the convenience store enraged. He intended to scope the neighborhood looking for the thief, all the while growing increasingly angry and carrying a gun illegally.
When did you have a phone? When did you have a phone?
Shit, I don't even. Man, I always got a phone.
Yeah?
I always got a phone.
Well, what was the number of your phone?
What was your phone number?
Y'all trying to dig me in a hole, man. Like that shit.
Dig you in a hole. You're already in the hole.
In the hole. No, you're saying that you're telling me people are saying that they.
People are talking because you know what? That young man did not deserve to die that way. He was executed.
1 week after he left Wally's in a rage, Cody told the detectives demonstrable lies about his phone and where he was on the day it was taken. They had tracked the individual identified by local residents as Cody on videos across the neighborhood.
So you're saying you got me on camera, by the way?
Oh, we
We
got
got
you
you
on
all
camera.
over camera, dude. We got you down Newton, we got you down Oliver, we got you on GVR, we got you walking down Penn.
We got
Check
you.
it out.
you shooting that kid.
Say, you got this.
And he's
People describe you to a T.
T. Absolutely.
So why would people be saying, "Hey, it's him"? Because you know what? This 15-year-old didn't deserve to be executed. That's exactly what you did.
At first, Cody complained excessively to the detectives about his treatment during the arrest, about the way his mother's home was stormed by police, and about how he and his family had been treated. He also abandoned his first attempt at an alibi, that he was at the movies with his girlfriend. That was the day before. On the day of the murder, he was with his brother.
It was.
Ask my girl. No, ask my girl about it. The same too when I brought it.
Okay, so you went to the movie on Tuesday with her, not Wednesday.
Yeah, both.
So where were you Wednesday then?
Like I said, I was with bro. Like I said, I was with my brothers.
You were with Curtis. Okay, and where were you? North side, south side?
What is this? What is this to do?
The detectives continued to push for his whereabouts. Their working theory was that Cody committed the murder as a random act of rage after the robbery. And they were about to get a demonstration of just how quickly Cody's temper could be triggered.
Oh, you was at Wally's and boom, 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 boom.
You were by Wally's,
I
absolutely.
was by Wally's.
You were?
But y'all don't know the story.
Well, tell me.
Busted me in the face, stole my phone, all that stupid. That don't mean I pulled the trigger. Just because some people say some that's what it is. That's what it is. So y'all gonna go with the you hear anyway. I was over at the store. I got up. That's what that was.
Who jumped you?
I don't, like I said, I don't know. That don't make me no murder. I called my big cousin. My big cousin come get me. What it look like? I said, I don't. Nothing came of it. You act like and I pulled the trigger on somebody.
When did you get jumped, or when did you get your stuff robbed?
Man, I went to the Wally's. I went to the Wally's for a backwood and a pack of Newports.
When? Was it Wednesday?
11.
Was it Wednesday?
Tuesday or...
Well, you were with your girl Tuesday for
Nope, that was Wednesday.
Okay, so you did get jumped where? Was it by Wally's? And you're just looking for the dude that stole your phone?
After admitting to being in the area at the time of the shooting, seeking the man who stole his phone, Cody Forencam was charged with murder. Investigators had what they needed, but Cody gave them more. After the interview concluded, they listened into jailhouse calls placed by Cody to his cousin and others close to him. In these recorded calls, he attempted to acquire an alibi for the time of the shooting. Those he spoke with then, nonetheless, denied to police that they were with him that day.
Right?
I see how y'all are trying to put the piece of puzzle together, but y'all
You're the last piece of this puzzle.
Nah, like I said.
Cody faced charges of second-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty. As the trial date approached in early November 2022, Dee's family, particularly his mother, Tuesday Shepherd, were further aggravated. The late delivery of evidence from state prosecutors to the defense, including more video surveillance, led to a formal delay of jury selection. The defense needed more time. The delay meant that family and friends of Dee's would need to push through the holiday season before they would get the justice they desperately sought.
The only thing y'all need to understand is we want justice for my son, D. Hill.
We don't want to wait till January. We want it today. That's why we're here.
It was not only the slow-moving courts that were causing Dee's family more grief. It was also their firm belief that Cody Forencam was not the only person criminally liable for Dee's death. Dee's mother made a habit of driving her children to and from school every day to ensure that they arrived and returned safely. On the day that Dee was killed, the principal of his school, Maury Fristelbin, signed off an organized walkout of afternoon classes in support of joining the protests against the shooting of Amir Locke, which was taking place downtown. The Hill family's attorney, William Walker, explained that not only was this against school board policy, but the parents were not notified that students would be out of classes after lunchtime that day.
Her job was to be a principal, to guard these children, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen. If it had been such that they had simply called the mother, called the father, and told them, yes, school is going to be out early today for whatever reason, the parents could have come and picked their children up. They didn't do any of that.
William Walker called upon Attorney General Keith Ellison and Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty to open criminal investigations into the principal's actions, preferably by convening a grand jury. In the meantime, the Minneapolis Public Schools paid the family a settlement of $500,000 while admitting no liability in Dee's death. The family continued to push for criminal charges as the murder trial finally began. In their opening statements, Forencam's defense team made clear their position that the state lacked evidence to prove he was the killer. Attorneys pointed to the fact that the murder weapon had not been located, and emphasized inconsistencies in the description of the suspect. The only eyewitness to the shooting, Ashley McNamara, originally told police that her best recollection was that the shooter was a black man, who was also clothed entirely in black. The red trousers worn by the shooter and caught on camera discredited these statements. Was this enough to establish reasonable doubt? Thankfully for the state, Ashley changed her story 2 weeks after her initial statement to police to align to the footage they had acquired. However, there was also the video footage from earlier in the day that did not show Cody Forencam wearing the red trousers. When he was mugged in the Wally's food shop, he wore different bottoms, though the backpack he carried did resemble the same one held by the shooter. Defense attorney Lisa Skurskowski pointed out that there was no evidence Cody ever changed his clothes. But the state argued that there was reason to believe he had, in fact, changed his clothing. The state presented surveillance photos from outside Wally's food where Cody was knocked to the ground in wet snow by his mugger. It would have been logical after this occurred to have changed out of the wet clothing. Furthermore, state prosecutors had Cody's own admission to being in the neighborhood at that time, searching for the man who stole his phone. They pieced together the movements of the man in red trousers across the neighborhood using multiple cameras from homes and shops. The jury returned with their verdict remarkably quickly, less than 1 hour. Jurors told the media that they voted in agreement within minutes of leaving the courtroom. Cody was found guilty of second-degree murder with intent, but not premeditation, and second-degree murder while committing a felony. He faced a maximum of 40 years in prison.
So you were the foreman?
Yes.
Was it the surveillance video? Was it one witness? What was it? That was just 1 hour of deliberating. I've never seen a jury go that quick.
I think it was a little bit of everything. It was a little bit of surveillance. It was a little bit of, the prosecutor did a great job. And
no doubt the guy in red pants is Cody Forencam.
There wasn't any doubts whatsoever. Everybody agreed it was quick and as it should have been.
Justice for D. Hill. Justice for Deshaun Hill Jr. We got it. He's guilty. He's guilty. Like everybody knew.
We still maintain 100% that if that principal did not let D. Hill out of school on that particular day, he would be alive today. Yep. And so we are still demanding that the county attorney conduct an investigation as to whether or not that protocols were violated and whether or not D. Hill should have been out of school or if he should have been in a classroom eating lunch like he does every other day.
The Hennepin County Attorney's Office decided not to investigate potential charges against the Minneapolis North Community High School principal. William Walker maintained that there was a question as to whether the principal created an unreasonable risk by allowing students to leave the school in the middle of the day, and over the objection twice of the school board. Judge Julie Allen listened to impact statements from Dee's loved ones before delivering her final sentence. The hearing was characterized by outbursts from the family and emotional intensity.
Please give him over 40 years because he don't deserve to be out here killing anybody else's kids or anyone else in that matter. And I hate him. And that's about it. Thank you, Michelle. I hope you rot in hell. You're going to meet your neighbor.
Come on.
Your victim, Deshaun Hill, was only 15 years old. All he did was walk by you. And as he's walking away in broad daylight on a public street, you turned and you shot at him, not once, but 3 times, the back of his head. And for why? For what reason? You do deserve the top sentence allowable under the guidelines. So I sentence you to what we call an executed sentence. You are committed to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for 463 months. You have 3, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've never seen a dumbass broad.
The application of the maximum sentence finally delivered to Deshaun's family the justice they deserved. But even this conclusion could not possibly bring an end to their grief. The family has launched a foundation to honor the legacy of Deshaun Hill Jr. The nonprofit has a vision to serving the North Minneapolis community, provide opportunities for youth, and create healing spaces for those victimized by gun violence.
So deeply wrong about what has happened into our number 9, to our D Hill, that the pain that is within this community right now can never make up for the pain that you 5 are experiencing, but at bare minimum, we can experience it with you and we can experience it together.
The foundation will provide scholarships for talented, hardworking local youths. The family is also lobbying for an increase to the maximum sentence applied to adult murderers who kill children. 40 years is not enough. They would like to see that doubled. And that was the tragic and senseless murder of Deshaun Hill Jr. Thanks for watching. I'm Kevin. This is Just Thought Lounge, and I'll see you in the next one.